Psst, check this out.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Backchannel. In today's episode, I want to continue on the theme of talking about decks and narratives and reiterate a strategy around decks and narratives that I've talked about in the past, but is recently coming up. So I just want to make sure we talk about it again. And it's all about how to string together the content of a deck such that it flows really seamlessly, it's easily understood, etc. The main thing is that every deck needs to have as little content on it as possible and still deliver the message or the takeaway that each slide represents. The founders I see that do best in company building and fundraising have a secret weapon. Their secret weapon is a community of people, of experts, of peers in the startup industry that they can ask for help from at any time, guide them through processes like fundraising. I wanted to make that easier for everyone else to have access to by building the Adamant fundraising program and community. This gives you access to 75 different training videos around the fundraising process to give you that expert starting point around how to actually execute fundraising, and then access to a community where we host live pitch deck teardowns and office hours every week to make sure that you can ask the minute questions on how your deck should be better, how you should reform your strategy, how you should answer investors who are reaching out to you that you don't know how to answer. So if you want to check that out, if you want to get the secret weapon that I think a lot of the best founders have, check out adamantfundraising.com and join us today. One really easy way to do that is to make sure the biggest text on a slide captures the full concept on its own, so that if you only read the biggest font text on the slide, the title, that you would get the concept of the slide and you wouldn't have to read anything else on the slide, or maybe there wouldn't even be anything else on the slide. This framework I describe as slide title narration. It's basically using simple sentences to actually articulate the concept, as opposed to two big mistakes that I see people fall into. One is to define what the slide's purpose is, like problem. And then in the content of the slide, describe all the things that make the problem. Solution, market opportunity, team, amount raising, and then actually put all the detail. You are wasting real estate by putting a title at the top and then using more text to actually describe what that title is. I would rather just clearly describe something like the AI boom is causing the biggest cybersecurity risk that we've seen in the last 20 years. Simple problem statement that also kind of gives you other elements of what's going on. Robotics are an amazing category for addressing the labor shortage, but they can't interact with humans. These are like statements that can be read and then flow to the next statement. Right? The other way that people mess up is they will oftentimes use marketing or play on words languages like the market asked, so we delivered, as the title of a slide, which is clever and cute, but actually doesn't say anything and requires us to read that and then read the next chunk of text and synthesize things to understand what we were trying to actually take away. Don't do any of that. Be super simple. Try to follow slide title narration. It's a really easy way of describing what your flow is going to be, and actually can help in your planning in that you can do a deck outline just by bullet points, simple bullet points. And if you think the sentences describe what you have, can flow to the next sentence, can flow to the next sentence, that can actually just translate to a real deck, in that you can use those slide bullet point outlines as the actual slide titles and follow the framework of slide title narration. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions around how that might apply to your narrative, feel free to reach out, share an outline with me, and I can give you some feedback on exactly how slide title narration might work in your case. All right. Hopefully this was helpful. I want to see you guys on the next episode of the Backchannel. Let me know if there's any other topics around decks and narrative flows that you'd like me to cover. All right. See ya.